That's not Jerry West. That's geriatric West. LeBron sprain. Giannis osteoporosis. Retiree Irving. Jaren Jackson Sr. Udonis Haslem. Dementia Gilgis Alexander. Polypharma CJ McConnell. Darrell arthritis. Cameron back pain.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby. Hey-yo. And over yonder, still holding down the fort while JD recovers, it's Eshua Kid.
How y'all doing?
What's up, Esh?
What's up, dog?
I forgot to ask you before we went live, Esh. Yo. Are you recording?
I am recording.
Yeah, baby!
Man, you make a mistake one time.
Hey, look. Just got to make sure. Shout out to everybody joining us live on YouTube. We love to see it. Hit the like button. Subscribe.
They're recording. YouTube's
Share
recording.
the show. Oh, good,
Awesome.
good. Oh, that's the backup, is it? Yeah, that's a good point. Podcast listeners, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Apologies for starting a little late here. We were busy watching Craig Smith, the Rhino highlights.
We had to know why his secondary nickname was the Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
He got a balloon once. This is an underwhelming mixtape. Stay tuned to my Twitter. I'm going to put it out later.
Okay,
The tweet will read, "This is the worst mixtape I've ever watched."
I mean, I watched most of it over your shoulder,
Yeah.
and it was a couple two-hand slams. That was it.
They had Craig Smith showing off his handles after the whistle of a summer league game.
Yeah.
Included.
Some of those plays were nice. He had a reverse.
Yeah, that was great passing by Kevin Garnett.
It was a good pass. It was a good pass.
Bad quality standard definition downloads.
Yes.
I mean, I would put that on the user, though. Then you saw some of the videos afterwards. They're better.
The clarity got better.
Yeah. Anyway.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, keep your eye out on Trey Kirby's social media channels for Craig the Rhino Smith mixtape that actually exists and reason why we're late. Okay, so lots to talk about. Some incredible games on last night. We'll have some fun with a new segment called Rank 'em. We'll get to pick 'em. But first, Jimmy Butler was back from suspension again. And then Jimmy Butler got suspended by the Miami Heat again. Yesterday, Jimmy suspended for the third time this month by the Heat. The team said that Butler left Monday's morning practice early in advance of a game against the Magic, something the team called, quote, intentionally withholding services. So the suspension is without pay, and it's indefinite for now, with the team saying it will last at least 5 games. So we've gotten some reports about what actually went down, Tass, and it sounds like the Heat told Jimmy, hey man, you're out of the starting lineup. Haywood Highsmith's going to go in there. And he responded, Jimmy Butler did, by just walking out.
I'm out of the lineup. I'm out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he took a ball at least. The definition of taking my ball and going home. I know they have other balls, but still. Jimmy just leaves and then they suspend him. I don't know. What do you want to say about this?
And then his teammate, Kevin Love, posts a video of Denzel Washington in some movie with the caption, Haywood Highsmith over me? This is unprecedented. And I'm not speaking specifically about the social media, but to have a guy who took them to the finals twice. And the last time he was in the playoffs, went to the finals. And then last year, had that interview while Boston was playing Miami in the playoffs. It was 1-1, and he was interviewed by Chris Haynes, and he said, I'm tired of talking about Boston. We're going to be up 2-1 in a second. So it's like he was out there on the floor. That was his team. That was his squad. But then whatever happened in the summer with Pat Riley, where they butted heads in terms of an extension for him, that happened. And then it really just snowballed this last month and a half or so, month-ish, where he's suspended not once, not 2 times. No, this isn't enough. We got to suspend you a 3rd time. This is unprecedented. This has not happened, I don't think, in the history of basketball, where this, I know it's minutia where you can kind of specify all these little things, but 3 times within a month. He also the first time he kind of stopped playing extremely hard and he kind of went away. He was sick.
Well, that's why we sat here and go, I don't think he's ever going to play for the Miami Heat again. That's what you and I were definitely saying.
Yeah.
And it probably should have been the case. I mean, he did come back and he's sort of there, but then he's gone again because he's missing flights. Then he's about to come back. He's told you're not starting, so he's gone again. Like, in the end, they probably shouldn't have. But
I thought if there's any good basketball player you're going to have, it's this guy. So I thought they might try and work out internally, but Pat and Jimmy are not seeing eye to eye, and that is clearly true. You heard Dwayne Wade talk about it on his podcast. He thinks it's tragic, and that the whole Pat Riley mode of doing things is just
antiquated.
Antiquated is that?
And
what you call it?
And I'm not saying this is like on Pat Riley and the Heat here. Like Jimmy Butler is putting up a hissy fit right now because he didn't get his contract extension, felt like he was dissed by Pat Riley and maybe the organization, and now it's snowballed into this. Like, he loves this though. This is the thing, Jimmy Butler. Like, they are seeing firsthand just how uncomfortable Jimmy Butler can make a situation. He loves it. We've said this for so long, and that part's not unprecedented. Jimmy Butler's done these type of antics at couple spots before, so that part's not new, man.
The Minnesota one for sure.
Yeah,
Chicago for sure.
Yeah,
you can go back.
You can pull.
Jamal Collier did a great write-up on ESPN, literally running down all of the different controversies Jimmy Butler has, and there's one from the 16-17 season with the Bulls where he literally says, "I love controversy." On the record.
Right.
And that was, okay, so they started the season, they were like 3-1 maybe after their first 4 games, maybe 3-0, I don't know what it was. And it was Butler, Rondo, and Dwayne Wade playing together. They're like, oh, we got such great chemistry. And then that was in November. By January of that year, the team had completely fallen apart, and it was Wade and Butler fighting against Rondo and all the young players.
Yes.
I love controversy. And Wade is instructive here. The only reason he was on the Bulls was because Pat Riley decided, you're past your prime. I'm not going to pay you for what you did in the past. We're paying for future production.
Right.
Same thing's happening with Jimmy Butler. But it ain't happening with Jimmy Butler. He's not going to get paid by the Miami Heat. So at this point, maybe a scenario you could liken it to is when Stephon Marbury was having a lot of trouble with the New York Knicks. They just sent him home. That's what's going to happen with Jimmy Butler. If they can't find a trade, they should send him home because Tyler Herro's having an awesome season. He's really grown here. Kel'el Ware looks like he's going to be a player in this league. There are things to be excited about with the Heat, but with this hanging over their heads, they just need to wash their hands. Hate to see him go, but I love to watch him leave.
Yeah, well, I mean, you bring up the similarities to this Heat and Butler situation to the Heat and Bulls situation. There's also similarities to the Wolves one.
Yeah.
Because in that one, in July 2018, after a disappointing playoff exit, Butler turns down a 4-year extension, and then ahead of the season is like, I'd like to request a trade out of Minnesota. That didn't materialize right away. So then what happens? You get Butler yelling at general manager Scott Layden, dropping expletives in his direction, then sits down with Rachel Nichols and basically publicly humiliates the rest of the Wolves starters, putting them on blast, saying, I took the backup, I took the scrubs, and we beat the starters. Like, he made it very uncomfortable, and sort of what's, again, it's sort of happening here. And it's just like, maybe the difference is the Pat Riley, the Heat organization, like, maybe they're just as stubborn. It's like, we probably should just rip the Band-Aid off and get whatever we can in return. But, they've built up the idea of Heat culture and no one's bigger than the organization for a long time.
Yeah.
And sort of you're at a crossroads with this.
But they gave him the opportunity. He was at practice yesterday. They gave him the opportunity to come back and just play basketball.
Yeah.
And to just come off the bench, which isn't asking a lot because they're obviously moving in another direction. But Jimmy doesn't see himself as a guy coming off the bench, which sets us up for the team that he's going to next. Obviously, he has to start or else he ain't playing. And we've seen a lot of guys in their careers just not be able to come off the bench. We've seen some great ones be able to come off the bench recently in recent history, like Westbrook and Melo somehow made it work. But the next lineup is going to be fascinating. Will it happen? I mean, it is interesting to see the front office say, no, you're suspended again. You're suspended again. And then pick up the phone. We got a suspended guy. Please pick him up. Please take him if they can work out some sort of financial deal. Obviously, he's going to help a team, whether it's the Phoenix Suns or not, this season. Like, he is going to help them. Mm-hmm. But you can see, even in these games that he's come back, that the athleticism ain't there for the mid-range game, for the dunks at the rim. It ain't the same. That's for sure.
He's not trying. He's not trying for the Heat. He's trying to get traded out of there. And that's the main thing. So they said, we're going to send you to the bench. Jimmy Butler's not a bench player. If he goes to the Suns, he's starting. Like, if he goes to any other team, he's starting. They did this to piss him off. It worked. He walked out. Now they can suspend him again for a minimum of 5 games. Shocker. That goes right up to the trade deadline. So will they be able to find a trade? We'll see. When the Timberwolves traded him, they got back Jared Bayless, Robert Covington, and Dario Saric, 2 second-round picks. The Heat don't want to take back a package like that, clearly.
Yeah, they'll take any young player if they can get a young player, but it's likely to be picks. And you can see out there, even if he's, air quotes, not trying, he's still trying to dunk. Like, he doesn't have the athleticism. So what are teams going to be willing to pay for him? And that's why I thought they would just keep it internal, because they weren't going to be able to get a great package for him. Whether it's the rumored Wiggins or something from a third team, the Warriors ain't doing it. That's for sure.
You're 100% sure about that?
Well, I'm
not.
I don't think they're giving up anything. They would have to. Depending if there's a third team, they would have to give up either Kuminga or Wiggins.
Kuminga's hurt. Not even playing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Wiggins, of all the other trade pieces, hypothetical trades, and players coming back to the Miami Heat or whatever, like, I haven't heard any better names than that, really.
No, he's good. He's a capable player.
And they're at the point where, like, we'll take anything. Well, this is the thing. There's 5 scenarios that this is how it's going to play out, right? Butler gets traded before the deadline. Like, where? Who knows? Is it Phoenix? Because a 13, a 14, whatever's involved. Is it a wild card team? He gets traded. That seems like the most likely thing. I guess another scenario, as insane as it sounds, is like he does make peace with Pat Riley and the Miami Heat, like, sort of either right now or the deadline passes and Jimmy's a wild card and everybody chills out and, like, they just, like, try and make it work. I guess that is a scenario. He could also opt out of his contract in June. He becomes an unrestricted free agent. That seems weird for Jimmy's, like, chances to get the payday he wants. There's just not a lot of teams who are going to have, like, max space, and the ones that do, like, that come to mind, like the Brooklyn Nets, like, I don't think they're not going to have Jimmy Butler at this age and, like, give him that money. That's not the direction they're going. Okay, then he opts into his contract and hopes to get traded. That's definitely a scenario. And the other one is he opts into his contract, he continues feuding with the Heat, and he basically, and you said this, Trey, gets paid to stay away. And it's like, the Marbury thing, I guess John Wall had a similar thing happen once upon a time. It's like, okay, just okay, we'll try and work on a deal here and just don't come and show up and ruin things. But that's a circus just continuing around your team. So it feels like the trade happens, but the complications with all these second apron teams, and now we're getting reports, of the Bradley Beal et al. With the Phoenix Suns. He doesn't want to go to the Bulls. He doesn't want to go to a cold city. He doesn't want to go to a losing team because he's got the no trade clause, which, like, makes this 10 times funnier to me, this whole thing. Like, the real hang up here, or the real decision maker, is Bradley Beal because of this no trade clause.
He's got the cards
that he got when he was with the Wizards in that contract, which we, like, at the time were like, what the hell? Bradley Beal's good, but he's not that good to have this. And of course it can continue and he gets to decide. So
looked great last night, hitting those free throws for Phoenix.
That's right.
Is there another team that's even interested in Jimmy Butler?
No, that's why it feels.
It's only the Suns right now.
I don't think it's the Warriors.
I think it's the Warriors if it's like cheap enough. If it's not a Kuminga type piece. If Wiggins is the play, they're reeling, man. They need like a shakeup here. So that one I think is still in play. And if anything, they're looking at this going, yeah, Jimmy, keep doing this. Like, it's just driving down the price more and more. I know you got to make the money work and all that, but I think it's still.
I think it isn't Golden State. I don't think they see Wiggins, who's in his prime. I know he's not an incredible player anymore, but he's taken the other team's best offensive player to guard him in any series. I know they can't get there right now, but at least you know what you got. And
you would take Andrew Wiggins over Jimmy Butler right now for the 2025 postseason. As you just want that player on your team.
I would if I'm the Golden State Warriors.
I can't go that far.
Yeah, we know who Jimmy is. I know it's.
Yeah, he's a better player than Andrew Wiggins in the postseason.
Maybe.
That's fair. I think people would agree with you. I think people are out there agreeing with me. I think that is sort of fairly split. Depends how you feel about Jimmy as the 16-game player still, and can he do it alongside of Steph and Draymond.
Yeah. And can the Warriors get to the playoffs?
There's that part of the equation.
They're getting Vooch.
They're not even in there. You're right.
They don't have anything left to trade after they pull off the Vooch deal.
Yeah, it would seem to make sense that it's Phoenix, a guy in Matt Ishbia that showed you he's willing to put the cards on the table. We're gonna go get Kevin Durant. Oh, you're not trading for him? Mr. Jones, GM, I'm going to trade for him right here, right now. So it would make sense that that's the only one of the other 29 teams.
Yeah, like, can you talk yourself into Milwaukee Bucks making a move
For Jimmy?
Yeah, I know. I'm just throwing out potential teams here. I know it's cold in Milwaukee, but
He spent some time there in college.
That's right. That's true. That's true.
I think you're not going to believe this. I don't think he gets along with Marquette University anymore these days. Crazy. But I guess so. It feels like the Bucks are interested in making some sort of move, whether that be Beal getting their Levine, or I guess Butler could be in the mix. I wonder if there's like a mystery team out there that decides to take a risk on him. Like Memphis was kicking the tires.
Yep.
They basically got told, don't go for Jimmy Butler, but they could still decide to do it if they really wanted to, and he would be helpful for them. You saw the problems the Grizzlies had with the size last night, so maybe it helps.
I would love to see all this money that Jimmy Butler has lost through suspension, and how angry he is, and going through the NBA PA and trying to get some of that money back, because we talked about the money in his extension, how it didn't work out with Pat Riley. I mean, he's lost a good chunk of it being suspended for this long, which is interesting. But he's likely to try and get that $50 million next season, which he's already signed to. It's a player option, because that's a lot more than I think anybody is willing to give him, unless Matt Ishbia is ready to sign another check for a team that, this is not a championship team with Jimmy.
Do you see this playing out this week? Like before the deadline, obviously,
Nobody
10 days
knows.
from now?
Nobody knows this scenario. I would think it's going to happen with Phoenix.
You think he'll ultimately get there?
I think so.
And just takes that third and 14. I mean,
does that make him the most powerful player in the league? The guy forced another guy to use his no trade clause to get where he wanted to go and take his money. That's amazing. If that happens, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, Tess. That's probably what's going to happen. I think it'll be on the day of the deadline, though.
Yeah, because like at this point, he's not around the team. You've sent him home. It's like you just can take it all the way up to the deadline and just like hope somebody comes in with like a better deal or whatever, more picks or something.
Yeah, I think it just works out that Bradley Beal's coming off the bench and ain't the happiest guy in the world.
Players hate getting benched.
Yeah, they sure do.
They do, but it also sounds...
Pat Williams, they mentioned it on the broadcast last night. Sideways shot at Jimmy Butler from Stacey Keem. He's like, yeah, Pat Williams went to the bench, no problem.
I was going to say, Beal, I'm sure, doesn't love coming off the bench, but he also may hate moving more than coming off the bench. That's part of it, right? I mean, his entire family's there now. He has kids. He just probably doesn't I don't want to move again, man. That sucks. To wherever. I definitely don't make it a cold city. I guess maybe there's a handful of winning teams I could actually compete and try and win a championship. Sure, maybe I'll do it then and sort of put myself maybe above my family in that regard. But yeah, it's amazing he has this still. It's like playing Monopoly. You get the get out of jail free card and you use it, but you get to keep it with that NTC. It's amazing. Yeah, it's like, no, I'm going to keep this. Because, of course, that did happen with his Wizards contract, which he got, and then it was basically gone.
1 year later, he was gone. Yeah. And everybody knew it was going to happen.
I know.
He's one of 10 guys to ever have a no-trade clause.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Wizards are dumb.
Mark Bartelstein, you did it again, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think maybe Bradley Beal says, hey, Mark Bartelstein, go call the Warriors front office. Go call the Nets front office. I don't want to be traded. Get them to do it. Get somebody else to do it. I don't think Mark Bartelstein has that capability, but I mean, just the fact you look at me puzzled. Why if Beal doesn't want to leave, he's got to call other people and say, I'm tired of this. I'm not going anywhere. Or he may just not call anybody and just chill out.
All right, well let's put a pin in the Jimmy Butler saga right now, or we're going to find out if this deal obviously happens in the next 10 days, and we'll have hopefully an emergency podcast if it does, and wherever he goes and how many teams are involved. That's the other part. You're seeing all these hypothetical trades. It's like, it's not just 3 teams, it's 4 teams. I've seen teams, hypothetical trades that include a 5th team, because it gets complicated with all the money and because of his contract, for sure. But the Miami Heat did play that game last night. No Jimmy Butler, and they pulled out a victory. He got 30 from Tyler Herro. Bam was really strong down the stretch, and they came back to beat the Magic 125-119 in double overtime. They were down 12 with like 6.5 to go in the fourth. Went on a 15-3 run, and they were down, I believe, in the first overtime, like 6 points. It looked like that was a wrap. Got back into it. That was sort of Bam doing work there, and they got the victory. So takeaways from the Heat improving to 10-10 without Butler this season.
Wow.
13-12 when he plays.
Oh, they're better with Jimmy.
They're just better with Jimmy for at least another game or two. But what do you think?
The key sequence to me was in overtime. Magic were up 6 with about 1:45 left. Bam Adebayo then on the other end for the Heat gets a real easy layup on Paolo Banchero. Tough call against Paolo, I thought. On the other end, he gets called for basically a holding penalty on an offensive foul, but that's kind of how it was for the Magic last night. They could not get the ball inside the three-point arc for like minutes at a time, just passing it around, trying to get post entry. So they get the turnover there. Then Bam gets an and one on the pick and roll. He misses the free throw, though. Unfortunately, rebound gets knocked out of bounds by Jovic, and Duncan Robinson, I think, came over, and they knocked it off of Anthony Black and Paolo. Jovic then hits a tough leaner in the lane to tie it. Herro chucks a three-pointer, but then Paolo had no plan at the end of first overtime. Took too long to get into his play. I was impressed with the winning plays that Nikola Jovic was making in this one. Duncan Robinson, I thought, was really solid, just making little contributions to the Miami Heat. And then Bam hit a whole bunch of shots in overtime. And Tyler Herro continues his awesome season. I'll say this. He's got one of the best pump fakes in the entire league.
Oh.
He goes all the way up, looks super fundamental. Guys are jumping, and he's figured out how to weaponize it like Steph Curry with the side steps or attacking the closeout. Otherwise, he's had a really, really good year. So nice stuff from the Heat. They look like a team that likes playing together when Jimmy's not around.
Yeah, I wonder how much all this Jimmy circus factors into the coaches picking a reserve and saying Tyler Herro should be there or not. I don't know. As they sit around 500, there's a billion teams around 500. That could send anybody, a Cade, Trae Young to the All-Star game. On the other side, from the guard perspective, it was good to see Anthony Black play really well with Jalen Suggs out of this game. He was playing extremely well, and they're up double digits in that fourth quarter when the Miami Heat just stuck with it. Kel'el Ware making his fourth start a Rook, getting that roll, doing some great things, playing every single fourth quarter minute out there. Splashed a three, then 2 alley-oops in the last 3 minutes, that huge one with 40 seconds left. The side pick and roll, Nikola Jovic, who had a great game with a few minutes left. Jovic played 46 minutes off the bench. So the Heat are moving on into a different era, a different time, and Bam and Herro came through in that second overtime. Did they win because Jimmy was not there? No, they just came through late in this game when, unfortunately, as I mentioned, Anthony Black playing 42 minutes, subbing in for Jalen Suggs. The 20-year-old's not ready for a starting role like that. They need Suggs back. They may go get a guard, as Trey was talking about yesterday, just to help out. They do need some ball handling, period.
This was a rough game from Paolo. His hands were like stones, man. Either like trying to get that one rebound he said that sort of ultimately went off him, and he was like, oh, God. Then he had possession where he just lost it. It was like, ooh. Just didn't have that feel, that touch last night. And despite all that, they had looks. I mean, Wagner had a couple looks at the end of, I guess, regulation and overtimes to put it away to get the victory. But, man, yeah, Bam, Ware, Herro hitting that huge three off of a really nice play. I think Jovic came from behind on Paolo on that one too. Sort of he wasn't strong enough with the ball and sort of popped it out. It went to Bam. Bam found Tyler Herro. When you get an offensive rebound like that, the three-pointer almost always goes in. So that was huge, but good win from the Heat there. And we don't think we're going to see Jimmy Butler ever in a Heat jersey again, a Vice City jersey or not. So good start.
How is that legal, man? They just decided to start wearing new uniforms halfway through the season.
I don't know.
And they canceled the Heat culture ones which everybody hated. I think that's all it was that they said, we're going to wear the ones people love and get rid of the ones people hate. And the NBA's like, not okay, but do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah. It's true. They're going with these a lot more.
They wouldn't let LeBron switch numbers for a year because they're like, sorry, we already made the jerseys. But they're probably like, nobody's buying these Heat culture ones. Yeah. Everybody will buy the Vice ones.
Yeah, they're coming back with the exact same City edition next year. Like just these Vice-ish ones.
Just tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, touch it over here, touch it over there. Banchero is interesting. You'll see a great game, then a bad game. He's alternating. 4 of 16, then 10 of 19. 1 of 14, then 11 of 22, then 7 of 21 yesterday. He just hasn't found his flow since coming back.
Yeah. All right, let's move to probably the game of the night. Amen Thompson hitting the game-winning shot as the Rockets rally past the Celtics 114-112. Man, hallelujah. Amen Thompson. Here it is. Getting into the paint, little bump on Jaylen Brown, hits the game-winning floater, I guess you want to call it that, 0.7 seconds left. Pritchard tried to get like sort of a full court shot up, didn't go. 33 points for Amen Thompson. He's the star in this one. He said after, I feel like Kobe. His
sick.
first game-winning shot.
Man.
Dylan Brooks hitting 10 threes against the Celtics. Just on fire, turning into FIBA Brooks there, or turning into, like, I guess, Caleb Martin against the Celtics. We've sort of seen that before. They were awesome, but Thompson is the story. We talked about him on yesterday's podcast, and he follows it up with this performance, and he is putting up awesome numbers since starting for this team. He's averaging 19 points, nearly 12 boards, 4.5 assists, and 2.2 steals. And the team, despite him not being able to shoot, like he can't shoot, obviously from distance, they've jumped into top 10 offensive rating since he's become a full-time starter. He just like makes everything happen, and was huge down the clutch.
Yeah, we were watching this live, and it was a movie. What was the Celtics took over in that fourth quarter, trying to put the kids away. They were up 12. They hit 10 of 12 shots. But the Rockets responded. The kids came back with a 13-0 run of themselves. Amen Thompson was monstrous. He blocked Drew Holiday, and then he finished a great movie scene as he went down the other side of the floor and cut through the lane, and Şengün passed it to him, and he finished it off. He can't shoot. It's Simmons, Embiid-esque. Esh. No, I'm not calling you Ash.
Are you awake, Ash?
Yeah, but it is like Ben Simmons in his prime. That was not now, but in his prime where he was able to drive and do everything. I mean, he looks better than Ben Simmons in his good days, but getting it from Şengün, who is able to pass, they're able to make that work over and over and over again. And yeah, Dylan Brooks kept splashing three, and yeah, his coach laughed. Ime Udoka. I mean, this was a movie to me. Like how he bumped into his coach, and Udoka just had a giggle as he had 10 threes, and he went on that one-on-one battle with Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown was literally going one-on-one with this guy.
Dylan Brooks won the game by getting in Jaylen Brown's head.
Yeah, he did.
Jaylen Brown was, 1 for 6 in the fourth quarter, taking bad shots, too. While Brooks was hitting them, got the Celtics completely out of the flow of their offense. He was going one-on-one way too much, and that's why the Rockets were able to make the comeback. Their resilience is super impressive here. They responded against the Cavs twice. That first game, the Cavs went on a 19-0 run, and the Rockets answered it right back. They did it twice against the Grizzlies, including coming back from down 13 at the start of the fourth quarter. In this one, it was the run in about 3 minutes, 13-0. And this team is not very good offensively, but the defense is the offense. It's a steal by Thompson for a layup. They forced a shot clock violation. They got some run-of-the-mill, boring, we're just playing defense stops. And then, like Tass said, the blocked three-pointer, which turned into a layup as well. I think Amen Thompson is everybody's favorite player right now. The guy never gets tired. Have you seen a drop of sweat on his face ever? No. Have you seen him take a deep breath?
No.
You're calling him Ben Simmons? I think he is a combination of Scottie Pippen and Sean Marion. He's better than Ben Simmons ever was.
Yeah, that's probably true. I guess Ben was better at the rim back in the day, but I love his touch, Amen Thompson's touch. For a guy that, again, can't shoot and knows he can't shoot threes right now, he is really crafty and just has nice little floater and touch and angles and stuff around the rim.
He takes threes.
Man. Well,
they don't go in, but he takes them.
Yeah, and I guess you sort of have to a little bit. But not huge, high volume. I mean, how many threes has he shot? Like 50 threes on the year?
That's probably more than Ben Simmons shot in his career, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can't even make a Ben Simmons comparison because, unfortunately, he's complete garbage and has been for years. But I remember when he was.
I'm able to see the previous times, and yes. I mean, I think this is assuming a lot of Amen Thompson that he will have a better career, a better peak than Ben Simmons. But Ben Simmons was a damn good player. Yeah. 3-time All-Star, All-NBA. You know, he did all that stuff.
All defense.
Thompson likes basketball.
Big part of it.
Yeah, I think that's a huge difference. Remember, they had that great video of those two like listing the number 1 picks back and forth. These guys are sickos.
Yeah.
He made 2 jump shots to win the game here because he had that little fall away as well after nothing was happening for the Rockets offensively, and then had the floater. So like you're saying, I mean, are they jump shots? I don't know, but it's nice touch.
It's
and
great
he's
touch.
Such a good playmaker. The Rockets needed it. Jalen Green wasn't doing much. He had his eye basically closed up with a Nelly patch on it. Şengün was really struggling to get anywhere on Drew Holiday, but they got points from Dylan Brooks and Amen Thompson, guys who aren't known as scorers.
Yeah, and hopefully he's friends with Şengün. It sure seems that way because Ben Simmons wasn't friends with Joel Embiid. I just mean more on the floor. It looks like Embiid and Simmons out there, but he looks so happy. It was great hearing that interview. And that's what made it a movie for me, to get that post-game interview where he was talking with Dylan Brooks and said, that was my first game winner. I feel like Kobe. And then Dylan Brooks hearing that he hit 10 threes, I hit 10. But then
he tied a franchise record.
Yeah, James Harden. Yeah. He took it down. It's sort of like what Fred VanVleet does with this team. He just plays it cool in those post-game interviews because he's supposed to act like a vet with his young actor teammates. But that's who they are. I mean, they have to be the vets for Jalen Green and for Amen Thompson and for Tyrese and for all of them. So it's a fun team to watch because Amen Thompson is definitely everyone's favorite player, but this Rockets team is turning to everyone's favorite team as well.
They're a fun watch and they're entertaining games. Fun stat here from Owen Phillips at F5, great Substack. Amen is one of the most prolific, opportunistic scorers in the NBA. Now, what does that mean? I was like, oh, that's an interesting way to say it. Thompson is one of 6 players this season that has scored 100 or more points off of turnovers, off of second chance points, and off of fast breaks. And it's guys like Giannis, it's SGA, Mikal Bridges is there, Michael Porter Jr., and Julius Randle was like a little bit surprising as that 5th one, but then Amen Thompson. So just doing it, like you said, TK, that's what you said. It's like, he's scoring in all of the crazy plays. Like it's fast breaks, it's turnovers, a second chance, because he's everywhere, because he doesn't tire. And I've always got asked, because I'm sort of the runner of this group, like, which NBA player could run a marathon? I'm starting to be convinced it's this guy. He could put down like a 305, I think, in his sleep. He just never tires. He's so athletic in a league full of athletes. He just seems like leveled up on that. So really fun game. Make sure you go check out the highlights. Anything else from this one?
I just like this game. This is one of the games of the year for me.
Good stuff. People must have been hyped on playback.
Oh, absolutely.
For this one. You must have been locked in. You weren't probably jumping around once this one got close.
Well,
you had some other good games too.
We had a great game.
Heat Magic was ending at the exact same time.
Oh. Yep. Let's go to Booker scoring 26 as the Suns survived a late scare to beat the Clippers 111-109. I think it was a 10-0 run there from LAC down the stretch. Like, it's never really feels easy for the Suns, but they did get this victory as the team they're chasing in the standings. So good win, and they've put together a decent stretch here. Anything jump out to you from this one from either of you guys?
Yeah, I'm not as enthusiastic about this game as you are, as I can tell. They got a good game. They finished it off. It is their best win in a while because they got it done to end this game. Because yes, the Clippers made that beautiful run to make it super close.
Kawhi played in the 4th too.
Oh, great. Yeah, that is good news.
Yeah.
But yeah, Grayson Allen, who had a really good game, finished it with a couple free throws there. It was great to see the role players. Speaking of Grayson Allen, timely threes, 18 off the bench for that guy. Tyus Jones had a huge first quarter. It was nice to see the guys beside Durant and Booker, who have been extremely good together when they play. They've got a great record when those two guys play together, but they needed some other guys to come through. And that's really all I have to say about it. It was disappointing for the Clippers not to be able to shoot, but you can tell where the weaknesses, I think, for the Suns are still. I mean, Nick Richards was played off the floor essentially by Ivica Zubac.
He's a big boy.
He's huge, and you could see when Nick Richards is in space as a center, he's going to get played off the floor. Guys are just able to go by him. They're going to pick on him. And yeah, he can get big-bodied by a guy like Zubac, who is monstrous in this game. So there's that weakness. But yeah, good win.
Yeah, I don't have many takes on this either, except for Nick Richards definitely had a stinker. The two teams they've played with real centers since he got traded, he was a -26 against the Cavs and a -16 benched for Plumlee. It's not like the Suns went small. They played Plumlee in the 4th quarter, and, they just did the trade so that they didn't have to play Plumlee in the 4th quarter. But there he was, and there was Kevin Durant and Devin Booker hitting clutch jumpers.
Yes, and
so the Suns to me are the same team. Like, if Booker and Durant hit jumpers, you're gonna win.
You got a chance. Yeah. And you said Grayson Allen. I mean, he was a huge difference maker in a game where there wasn't a lot of bench scoring. I mean, the Clippers got nothing from their bench, like under 10 points, where Grayson Allen hit 4 threes, gave him 18, like you said, Tass. So huge difference maker in a very close game. But Suns get it done. Knicks crushed the Grizzlies, snapped their 6-game win streak, beat them 143-106. Second game in a row, I believe the Knicks have eclipsed 140 points. TK, so a yawner here, but Knicks fans pumped with this one.
This was actually a close game at halftime. Jalen Brunson had 4 fouls in the first half. You're like, ooh, this could be bad for New York, but turnovers have been a problem for the Grizzlies all season. They turned the ball over 26 times last night against the Knicks. That turned into 31 fast break points for New York and 70 points in the paint. This was a dominant victory, and it just looked like Memphis didn't have it. They weren't making shots early on, and that can kind of affect a guy like Ja Morant. If their offense looks bad, they don't give it as much on defense. And I also think Karl Anthony Towns is a particularly bad matchup for the Grizzlies. He's much too fast for Zach Edey. Kind of surprising he even got the start. Minus 19 for him in 19 minutes, and it was either not quick enough to close for the threes, or if he was, pump fake, see you later. So then they tried Jaren Jackson Jr., Brandon Clark. Those guys are too small for Karl Anthony Towns. He's good. So, nice.
Yeah, and Ja Morant was played by Mikal Bridges, who I thought played probably his best game defensively, leading his team, leading that unit, which was a fantastic defensive effort on their end. You saw great plays by OG Anunoby just fighting over screens. So the Knicks defense has been lacking, and this one, as Karl Anthony Towns, too fast for this team. They're a bad matchup for the Memphis Grizzlies, and I think this was probably their best win of the season. The Knicks haven't beat anybody that great. Denver, Orlando, Minnesota, Milwaukee, Sacramento, and Phoenix. Those are their best wins. And this was a dominating second half where they look like that defensive team. And again, because of how good they are in the perimeter, they took away Ja Morant, they took away Desmond Bane. This is a really good matchup for them.
And then Karl Anthony Towns gifted Timothée Chalamet his jersey after the game. Chalamet was pumped, man. He dapped Cat up like 8 times in that little exchange.
This guy's a fan.
He's an absolute sicko. This guy loves sports.
Yeah, he does.
For sure.
I saw a picture of him meeting, who did he meet? Landry Fields and Andy Routens when he was like a boy.
Oh,
wow.
He like waited outside of an opera to meet Amari Stoudemire when he was a boy. Chalamet's awesome. He's the best movie star we got going.
Damn.
He's a great dude.
All right, let's hear any other takeaways from any of the other games. There's obviously still a ton to pick from. Is there anything you want to note there, TK?
Nikola Jokic started 11 for 11 against the Chicago Bulls, but they put the clamps on him in the second half. I think the Nuggets scored literally 84 points in the paint in this one, and they lost because they made 6 3-pointers and the Bulls made 24.
129, 121.
It's a little
Bulls
thing
victory.
called math there. Here's some more math for you. The Bulls bench really won them this game. Buzelis had 9 points off the bench. Patrick Williams, 11 points off the bench. Dalen Terry had 13. The Nuggets in total scored 10 points off their bench.
Yes.
They didn't really seem very into giving much effort in this game. The Bulls were generating some easy wide open looks.
Yeah.
They were just like, they're going to start missing at some point. We'll maybe get this. And they
And it was Serbian night.
Wow.
Huh.
Damn. Jokic.
Disrespectful.
Not getting, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Serbians do that. I thought you were doing a Serbian impression. That was the Slovenian thing that's also Serbian. Luka Doncic did last year. Remember, he did that, like the spitting thing? Yeah. Anyway.
I don't, but I believe you.
Yeah. We do it too. The Greeks do it too. Hey, how about DeAndre Hunter? 35! He came back and had 35 freaking points off the bench. He was needed against the Minnesota Timberwolves because they had no Trey, no Jalen Johnson, no Dyson Daniels, no Bogdan Bogdanovic. He needed to come off the bench and help out. It was a weird game that ended the last 5 minutes. It was a 5-4 score.
Yeah.
Nobody scored
it.
It was a
gross fourth quarter.
It was like a hockey
20 to
game.
18 in the fourth. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was waiting to see if we got that Rudy Gobert that we got in their previous game that was passing the ball, and there was some more of that, and there was a little bit more inspired. Rudy got into it with Onyeka Okongwu, little battle. I'm looking forward to see Onyeka Okongwu and if he gets dealt, or what happens with the Hawks front office, because Landry Fields is there, and they put Onyeka Okongwu just now into the starting lineup for Clint Capella. He's undersized and there's some problems, although he's a great player. I just wonder if they're putting him into the starting lineup so they can deal Clint Capella, or what they're going to do. And how can we not talk about the Raptors just a little bit? Come on.
Oh my God.
Four
the tank
straight-
has stalled. I saw Hello and Welcome put it. The tank is just, it's ran out of gas. It's not moving anymore.
The tank wasn't supposed to be here, man. This is the team that is supposed to be on the floor. When they acquired all those guys 12 months ago, this is supposed to be the team. They have been great. 4 straight wins. 6 of their last 7.
Yeah.
What?
Their defense is like elite right now. They're not playing amazing teams.
No.
There's that part of it. But
Yeah.
the defense is good right now during
They
the
are.
stretch. Yeah.
They have the top 10 defense in the last 3 weeks. Even when you look a little longer, they're middle of the pack since January 1st. Again, that's all you wanted from the Toronto Raptors when they signed all of these guys like Bruce Brown, or they acquired him, I should say. Bruce Brown, 12 points, 9 assists, 3 steals. Chris Boucher, 14 points in 18 minutes. I don't know how much longer that lasts, because these are the guys. If The tank commander is saying we got to trade these guys, then they could be dealt in
4
9
first-round
days.
picks for Chris Boucher the way he's playing right now. Keeps going up, up, up.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
He is amazing. And one note on Scotty Barnes: to watch this guy on offense is just fun because he operates. He's like the tank general, or just like the commander in how he runs things from the elbow, not from up at the 3-point line. He just gets in there and he is so effective. Last year, he shot 29.7% from 10 to 16 feet. This year, he's 54.4%. He's grown, and he doesn't try and demand everything and try and take every shot. He likes to dish it out from there. And if only there was a guard to really help out instead of what they're running out with Davion Mitchell. No disrespect. Jamal Shed, no disrespect. Emmanuel quickly just needs to be out there dribbling after Scotty passes it to a guard. Eric Green gave me those numbers, and it is impressive to watch Scotty Barnes make that happen. He looks great.
The only other game I wanted to touch on was AD scoring 42, grabbing 23 rebounds.
That's a lot of roast.
As the Lakers beat the Hornets by 5. 4 straight victory for them. LaMelo leaving the game. Unfortunate for the Hornets here.
Weird injury.
Yes, very weird injury. But I wanted to bring up something that, I don't know, might be a controversy, at least in our world. We've been talking a lot about the dunk score this season. Keeping our eye on it. Thinking it's broken. What's going on with this? Well, last night, a lot of great dunks. Like, really good dunks across the association. I think the highest dunk score was Derrick Jones Jr.'s huge putback.
That was good.
Off a miss. That guy can soar. Big dunk. There was the Knicks had a couple great dunks. Buzelis dropped Aaron Gordon, dunked during the lane. Some fun highlights. But Dorian Finney-Smith, late in this game, threw down a hammer on Miles Bridges. It was big. He took off far. It was contested. It was challenged. It looked powerful. And I was like, okay, Derrick Jones Jr., I could see that. That got 90. But I wonder where DFS's dunk fell. So I went to look. They give you a little top 5 when you go to stats on NBA.com. It wasn't there. What the hell? That wasn't a top 5 dunk from last night? Okay, there were a lot of good dunks. Maybe it's like top 10. So you can go dive deep into it. It's not there. It's not tracked. So now you have to wonder how many of these dunks that we've seen on a night-to-night basis are not being counted. And why?
They're hiding dunks from us?
What's going on? Yeah, it's not there. Someone find it, let me know, but I could not find it. TK, you were looking before we went live.
Yeah,
and it appears not to be there.
Haven't updated it yet either.
Yeah.
It went down in play-by-play as a dunk.
Yeah. So what's going on here? Why wasn't it calculated? I think it was a very high dunk. My gut says it was like an 80 plus. All right, out of a 120 scale, of course. But what's going on? They don't think anybody's watching this stuff, but we're on it.
We're on it, man.
Yeah.
We're 100% on it, whether you want us to be or not.
I know. All right, well, let's talk more about some...
I got 2 other little things.
Okay.
Klay Thompson, 7 3-pointers in the first quarter. That's cool. He finished with 7 3-pointers. I also appreciate Damian Lillard's all-star push right here. Starters were announced on Thursday. Obviously, Dame not starting. It's Brunson. It's Mitchell. They kind of leapt up over him. So that night against Miami, he had 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists in a win against the Heat. Saturday against the Clippers, they lost, but 29 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. And then last night against the Jazz, 35 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists in a win. Don't forget about Dame.
Don't forget about Dame. Yes, we're going to actually make our all-star selections on tomorrow's podcast. We find out the reserves on Thursday. We'll react to those actual picks on Friday, maybe even draft our teams. Who wants to be Chuck? Who wants to be Shaq? Who wants to be Kenny? Not Kenny, he called it. But anyway, that's what we're going to do tomorrow. We'll make our selections. We'll do it together. We'll talk it out and fill out our rosters. And then, again, Friday, maybe we'll draft the actual teams. But
just a note there on Damian Lillard. The players had him 8th among Eastern Conference guards. Pretty low.
Yeah, very low.
Very low. I wonder... just as you think about these dunk scores and that, I don't know, whether there's a conspiracy or something going on. I just want to know, I'm more curious when the players get their votes in, because I think it's super early. I think they get their ballots 3 weeks into the season. Just by the looks of it, LaMelo up extremely high among players. don't necessarily care too much about the Charlotte Hornets' poor record or just seeing all those highlights because LaMelo peaked at the first few weeks of the season. Just curious. Just wondering how it all works.
Okay. Well,
just want to know the details.
That part doesn't matter now, I guess, right? It's just up to the coaches.
Oh, yeah, that does not matter, no.
So we'll see. Let's talk some more about dunks. Shams tweeting yesterday that Orlando Magic's McClung has committed to the NBA Slam Dunk Contest at All-Star Weekend in San Francisco. He's going to aim for a dunk contest three-peat. And here's the four-man field. Just got the photos up here. It's McClung on the far left. I swear, man, that looks like JD's son to me so much. It really looks like Jackson to me. We got Stephen Castle there of the Spurs rookie, Bulls rookie, Montes Buzelis, and then second-year player, I think I have that right, Andre Jackson Jr.
That's right,
yeah. So McClung, Castle, Buzelis, and Andre Jackson Jr. I want you to rank them, okay, TK, in terms of like your favorite to win the whole thing in 2025. I have a feeling I know who you're going to start with, but I'm interested to hear how you do the rest of the field in terms of the chances. So rank them.
Mac is back. We're looking at history here, Skeets. A dunk contest three-peat, never been done before. Only Nate Robinson has 3 dunk contest championships, right?
Yeah, and over how many years did he?
4.
Was it 4?
3 and 4 years. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think a lot of people think he did three-peat in a row. It's like sort of just...
Dwight got one in the mix,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Superman Dwight.
I honestly can't keep straight what dunks Mac did last year versus what he did the first year.
I know.
So I wonder what he's going to
know.
have, but the dude's the favorite. They literally dust him off every year and say, can anybody beat this guy in the entire league? The answer so far has been no. Do you remember who was in the dunk contest last year?
Jaylen Brown, for sure.
Yes.
Because we had an all-star
Mac
for
and
the
Jaylen
first
Brown.
time.
Yep. Can you think of the other two guys?
Toppin was, not Obi, Jacob.
Yep.
Who's the fourth guy? I assume it's a rookie, but...
He was a rookie, an older rookie. We saw him at
Jaime
a party.
Jaquez.
Jaime Jaquez Jr. He had the Mexican flag
yes, he did.
in the
Yeah, he did.
key.
Yeah, he
Okay.
did.
So, yeah.
Those were the guys.
Wasn't there controversy with Jaylen Brown? Am I crazy? Like, didn't he feel like he got hosed on a call or something like that? Or was it flipped the other way, that he was sort of like they gave him a good score?
I think the controversy was that they bumped him to the finals.
That's what it
pretty
was.
much.
That's what it was.
I don't remember. Probably Jacob.
It was
Toppin had
Jacob
the best
Toppin,
dunks
yeah.
Otherwise,
Yep. Okay, so
I'm sticking with Mac.
So Mac is back. A lot of people saying return of the Mac. That's
Return of
nice
the
too.
Mac.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so he's your favorite. Now,
He's my favorite.
Now where do you go? Like, how do you put him in order here?
Well, I'm a homer here.
Yeah,
I'm wearing
okay.
a Bulls hat, Bulls
fine.
shoes, and a Bulls sweatshirt. So I'm going to pick Montes Buzelis. 31-inch standing vert. 38-inch max vert.
Okay.
23 dunks on the season. Andre Jackson Jr., he actually probably will finish second. I think this one, the guy can absolutely
he
fly.
flies.
But I saw Montes Buzelis beat Stephon Castle in the McDonald's All-American dunk contest in high school, so
got his number.
Yeah,
Okay.
got his number.
So you're going McClung.
I'm going McClung, and I'm pulling for Buzelis.
Okay. And then
That's my finalists.
probably Jackson Jr. and then Castle.
Yeah.
Okay. You're fine with that?
No, I'm not fine with that.
Are you fine with this field? Are you fine with McClung trying to three-peat? Like, what's your take on all this?
Well, I think we'd all want more of a star. I don't think I'm just...
We've
not,
given up. That's what's happened to us. Like, I'm saying about us collectively.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, years ago, of course, like, we had more gusto. Come on, what's going on here? Get the star. We've literally just like,
Giving
all
up,
right,
giving
fine.
up on the push for the
Yeah.
stars. Yeah.
They won. They got us. We don't care.
I miss Jaylen Brown wearing a glittery left-handed glove, man. That was so cool.
Yeah.
We had an all-star in the dunk contest last year.
Yeah, and guess what? It had no actual effect on him at all. In fact, he went on to win Eastern Conference Finals MVP and Finals MVP and the championship.
Sounds like you do care.
I do care because I can't stand the what's the here's the pushback always. Why would an all-star go in it? They can't win. There's no incentive. That's complete bullshit. It is. Because we've have like decades of history that show when stars or guys that are like turning into stars or wanting to make the leap to stars, when they go in and they put on a show and they do well, let's say, their popularity frickin' soars. Kobe's and Jordan's, whatever. You can go on and on and on. So that part drives me nuts. And then the other part is like, oh, well, they could get injured, I guess. Or like, what? Has anyone gotten injured in the dunk contest was my first question. You're way more likely to be injured in the All-Star game.
John Collins got hit by an airplane in the
Yeah,
dunk
right.
contest.
Right. And he took it like a champ. And again, like nothing happened to Jaylen Brown. Okay, he didn't win. We all with the glove, all that. Oh, maybe he got boosted a bit, but like nothing. We moved on right away, and we were like, if anything, we were like, hey, respect, man. Like, you went in it and gave it a go.
buddy.
Yeah. So come on. Okay, you're right. I do care.
Well, the disappointing thing is that all-stars and the great players in this game don't necessarily care enough to just dunk a few times.
Yeah.
It's not asking them a lot.
We're not. It's pretty sad that, especially when he's been compared to Michael Jordan for the last couple of years, that Anthony Edwards hasn't gone in it. John Moran, of course, is one of the best dunkers in the game, hasn't gone in it.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe the precedent was set when LeBron decided to never do it. I mean,
100%.
yeah,
100%.
yeah.
That's when it became there's nothing to win and only something to lose. Guess what? Michael Jordan lost dunk contest.
I know, that's exactly right. Exactly. Yeah.
It has changed.
Changed in 2004.
So Mac, especially, it really changed when he said he was going to go into it. I remember that. Remember that.
yeah, I
Telling
remember
Cheryl Miller remembers that. We remember LeBron.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mac McClung, you got him as a favorite.
I mean, he looks great. I went back and watched both dunk contests. I watched every dunk from Stephon Castle and Montes Buzelis and Andre Jackson Jr. Mac McClung is the best dunker.
Yeah.
But I don't know, doing it 3 times in a row is hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, there was a little bit of a drop off last year, and so that's why no one's ever won 3 in a row, and that's why Nate Robb took a year off and said, I'm not going to do it, but then I'll come back and win it. And so, yeah, you need that little palate cleanse. But I think Stephon Castle's good. I think of all the dunks I watched, you know, besides Mac McClung, who had the best ones, the best in-game dunks were from Stephon Castle.
Okay.
He had a windmill dunk. He was the only one who had flair this year.
He had a nice one
Out of
against
anyone.
the Pacers that was like a drive in traffic there in France, a two-hander.
Andre Jackson Jr., was it this year or last year? He had that one dunk where he like almost Tom Chambers up off of
Yeah,
Mark Jackson.
yeah,
He bounced off somebody and he went, his head was like above the rim by this much.
He's
and
a
he
great
can
jumper,
fly.
yeah.
I think
He
he's
can
working
fly.
with the the dunk coaches as well, Team Flight Brothers and all that. So I'm with you. I do think maybe there might be a little tiring of McClung.
Maybe.
And that like maybe one of these other young guys can get it. So put me down for Andre Jackson Jr. just to switch it up.
I think it's cool that it'll say Mac McClung of the Orlando Magic this year because he's played one game for them
a two-way
instead
guy?
of the Osceola Magic, because that's what it said last year, and that's what makes it a little bit. It's not as fun to see G League players, although much respect to the G League players. Last year he hadn't played in the NBA before he won it. Either way, it should be fun. It should be fun.
Do you think they'll incorporate dunk score into the dunk contest? Like, do you think it comes
yes,
up?
I actually do.
Yeah.
I think somehow they will like measure the power and the height and stuff.
I guess they've sort of done that
Yeah.
in the past. You're right. Yeah.
I remember one time Harrison Barnes plugged himself into a PlayStation during a dunk contest once.
Yeah, it didn't
There's
work,
some weird
right?
gimmicks, man.
Oh man, the dunk contest really is, when I think about it, it's sort of like a wrestling event, like a Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I guess is the best comparison, where it's like there's some great moments within it, and then there's like these like comedic, like, oh my god, what the hell was that moment? Yeah. All right, next one here in rank 'em. Tass, you get us started here. Best in the West. I want you to rank the top 4 teams right now, and this is coming off the really strong quality Rockets win, Grizzlies, getting waxed in MSG, Nuggets losing to the Bulls, but rank them: Thunder, Rockets, Grizzlies, Nuggets, in terms of like win a title.
Yeah,
this year.
even before yesterday, I was going back and forth. I don't know who is number 2, 3, 4 besides OKC. OKC deserves to be number 1. They still haven't played with Chet for a good part of the season, and Chet hasn't played with Isaiah Hartenstein. Right. Their one one issue is defense, and when those two guys come back, and Chet, arguably their second best scorer, no disrespect to Jalen Williams, who's been awesome, they're number 1. Still, they're a young team that's only made the second round, so I'm sure a team like Denver would look at them and say, come on, we won the championship 2 years ago. We can do this. That being said, I wouldn't put Denver second. I think Houston deserves to be second because in a matchup with Denver, who is definitely one of the better competitors for OKC, I think they would play into Houston's game of athleticism because Denver likes to push it. Russ likes to push it. They are number 1 in fast break points, but you're just playing into their strength. And Houston is able to out-athletic the Denver Nuggets, I do think. They win offensive boards. They'll be able to do that against Denver. They're first in offensive boards. They won't turn it over to allow Russ to get on his run. They're up pretty high in there, top 10. Yeah. And they're able to, when they want to just continue to push it, they do get to the free throw line. So even though they don't have a fourth quarter clutch, really good clutch record, they do not at this point. I think they're getting better. I think you look at Amen Thompson growing, and you look at what Jalen Green is able to do, who would be their fourth quarter type of guy. He has gotten so good in January. You can argue that his January this year is better than his March last year. It's literally super, super good. 26 points, 47.5 from the floor, 44.5 from three. And I say that in that order because I do think Amen Thompson has taken just a little bit of the pressure off a guy like Jalen Green, where he doesn't have to do everything all the time. Mm-hmm. And are they old and are they experienced enough to beat Denver? I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's sort of up in the air besides OKC. So I would rank OKC, Houston, Denver, and then Memphis fourth, unfortunately, in this. I would look at them as sort of the playoff matchups. That's what I'm looking at. I think Denver is a damn good team and better than Memphis.
You agree with that order?
No. I've got the Thunder and Nuggets as title contenders and the Rockets and Grizzlies as potential contenders with some question marks. Mm-hmm. The Grizzlies, we've seen them have some playoff stinkers. I got them fourth because they've lost to the Rockets 3 times this season. They play basically the same style of basketball, and the Rockets have just been a little bit better so far this season. I do think the Thunder are the best team. I got my questions about them. Like, is Dort and Caruso really going to be able to shoot in the playoffs? Are we going to get a good Jalen Williams performance for the entirety? I think there could be question marks for them offensively, but they're number one, clearly, to me. And then I think the Nuggets should be number 2. They got the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic. They've got the most experience of any of these 4 teams. They were a fourth quarter away from going to the conference finals again last year. Still crazy they blew it against the Timberwolves. It will all come down to matchups and which teams are playing each other in these rounds and who advances and that kind of stuff. But I think that either the Thunder or the Nuggets could win the title this year. And I think that's a little bit longer down the road for the Rockets and Grizzlies.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Final one here, okay? Final one in Rankum. We'll call it after this and then move to Pick'em. After a very strong January, Miami Heat 7-footer Kel'el Ware has become the favorite to win this season's Rookie of the Year. If he does take home the honor, the 20-year-old would be the first Heat player to ever win the award. That sort of shocked me a little bit. Kendrick Nunn finished second in 2019. Wade finished third back in his year, and then Caron Butler finished third the year before that. So those guys have the highest voting finishes in franchise history. So this is funny because it's been almost a running bit for you all season, TK, how the Rookie of the Year frontrunner changes at least week to week. And it has, Ware, I guess, plus 200, Castle plus 275, Sarr plus 350, and Wells plus 350. Do you rank them as the way Vegas has them to win Rookie of the Year?
They're straight up hating on Jalen Wells right now.
Yeah, they are.
I think he's the guy, but everybody's looking for somebody who is going to probably have a more exciting NBA career. Somebody who's a better prospect. Kel'el Ware has scored in double digits 8 games this season. Jalen Wells averages 12.5 a game. He scored in double digits 29 games this season. He's played 1,200 minutes to 500 for Kel'el Ware. I think Ware is a better prospect long term. He's probably going to be the better player as time goes on. But through the first 50 games of the season, Jalen Wells has been the Rookie of the Year for me for the entirety of the season, though there have been higher moments for a whole bunch of guys. Wells has been really, really steady. So I would go Wells. Then I would probably... I'll go Ware right now because I think he's going to have a good second half of the season here, followed by Castle. And then Alex Sarr, he's just kind of toiling in obscurity right now, putting up points for a Wizards team that isn't very watchable.
Yeah, it is unfortunate for him. I do think Ware getting put into the starting lineup gives him, the favorite, and I think he'll do it. The last 4 games that he has started, the numbers are good. 17 points per game, 53% from the field, 47% from 3. I think he is the sexiest pick because he will have the best second half in terms of scoring. Because Jalen Wells is a very complimentary player. He's an incredible defender. There's no doubt about that, and has had the better first half. But I think he comes second. And Stephon Castle, as much as he's getting the starting job in San Antonio, he just has on games and off games, but he can score. That is for sure. So... that's a 1-2-3 with 3 good players that will have good careers. And yes, Sarr should have a good career as well. He got better and then dropped off a little bit. He's just doing his thing. He's having a first year here in Washington. They have so many guys doing their thing. They got a bub in Washington. They got Bilal, who looks great at times.
Yeah.
So they got. I can't believe how bad they are.
6 wins.
Yeah, especially in a league right now where there are some other pretty bad teams.
The Jazz have 10 wins.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I said that the other day. It's
room.
pretty crazy the
6
gap
wins.
the gap that is happening here between the Wizards and the rest of the bottom dwellers. Like, it's growing for sure. All right, let's hear from you guys. That's a fun new segment here. Rank them, put them in order there. Pick them tonight, Tass. Tuesday night, you had 12 games on last night, only 4 on tonight. What's our game? And do I even have a chance to not lose this month?
Well, the Lakers are visiting Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a 4.5-point dog, but the Lakers haven't won in Philadelphia since the 2017-2018 season.
Whoa.
It's been a minute. So that's why I'm comfortable taking the points. Sixers can lose by 4 or less. You take them. Esh also with me. Skeets and Trey are taking the Lakers. You're 4 games back of Esh.
Oh, I got
Skeets, so you got to win out.
Yeah,
run the table.
I got to run the table to tie them.
You got to go 4 for 4 here in the last 4 days.
Here we go. Starts tonight.
Yep. So
Lakers winning by 5 in Philly. Let's go.
So you just waited to see what Esh's pick was, and then
No, it was
countered.
It was even more pathetic than that, actually, Tass. Now, I did get to the dock somewhat early this morning because I'm still on a weird time difference from the Paris trip. I put in the Lakers, and then a little bit later, I saw that our guy Esh also put the Lakers.
Gotta switch it up.
So I had to slide into Esh's DMs and say, my man, can you take Philly tonight? Can you throw me a bone, make this a little interesting? And he's a team player. He's like, no problem. I got you. You suck at this anyway. I'll probably win now, so thank you. So it was going to be overall no matter what happened, but at least we have some intrigue tonight in the Lakers-Sixers. So go Lakers to continue this. Otherwise, I will be paying off January's pick'em loss. It's looking like I will be. It's going to be one of the weirder ones we've ever done, but we're going to have some fun with it. 4 games on tonight. Lakers-Sixers on TNT. Bucks-Blazers. Oh, Damian Lillard in Portland. Then we got Rockets, Hawks, Jazz, Warriors. So light night. Again, probably the perfect time tomorrow to make our all-star selections. The 10 starters, they're announced. We'll go over those. You know them, but then we'll pick the other 14 reserves. Took me a second to do the math there.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I wasn't confident about it when I said it. He's still figuring that. All right, so join us tomorrow. And hey, if you enjoyed today's show, hit the like button, subscribe. Podcast listeners, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Until tomorrow, here from the Classic Factory, Clipper Bro.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, Atlanta Hawks, they're playing the rescheduled game because of the snowstorm here in Atlanta, hosting the Houston Rockets. But you want to play all your players, Atlanta. Trae Young's day-to-day. Dyson Daniels day-to-day. Jalen Johnson probably not going to play. Jalen Green has a head injury. What?
Back for both, huh?
That's going to be a weird game tonight. Yeah, Houston coming from Boston, Atlanta coming from Minnesota. Right? Back.
That's right.
Yeah.
This might be a Daquan Plowden game.
Yeah, baby.
Are you going down to the Fortress tonight?
I am. I've seen Daquan Plowden hit shots in person in 2 different arenas. It might happen again.
Whoa.
Because I've seen him play for the G League team. I've seen him play for the big club. Might happen again. But let me know, Atlanta. I'll be down there.
Okay. Keep an eye for Tass in the Fortress tonight. Everybody, embrace the day.